Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Encouragement. I'm William.
I'm Andrew, and this is reversed.
So we were almost half an hour into the podcast, and then I'm recording at the church,
No.
so our church internet was not very working well, so it crashed, and so we lost our meeting recording for half an hour. It was really good. We were starting to wrap up John 11:35, or wait, yeah. But anyway, well, let's do this again. How was your week, Andrew?
Good.
Yeah, mine wasn't bad either. We're getting you into the cult that is Civil Air Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a cult; it's just a government group. Can't be a cult if it's government.
It's not exactly a trench coat mafia, but
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you're muted, by the way. You do know you're muted, right? The last thing was Trenchcoat Mafia, if that helps anything.
yeah, trench coat mafia.
So, okay, so let's get to the random question. It's not going to be so random for you, but anyway, here's the random questions. Here's the random question. And we already picked it. So, what is your dream car?
Tesla.
Yeah. Mine's probably, mine, the reason we're choosing so quickly is because we did this already. Mine is a royal blue Ford Shelby Mustang with a white racing stripe, and it is a convertible. So earlier in our previous attempt, we determined that there are 4 types of dream cars. There's your dream car to own, there's your favorite car, there's the car you actually have, and there's your spirit car. So,
and the car that you can actually afford.
yeah, the car you actually have, yeah. So 4 different kinds of cars. So we just said our dream cars. So now our favorite car, mine's probably a Wrangler, kind of like your dad has.
Maybe, yeah, Jeep Wrangler.
Maybe a light blue, maybe, but Jeep Wrangler. But what about you?
The Jeep Willys. I'll see if I can pull up a picture of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That would be really good if you could get a picture of it. I know what you're talking about. I'm going to pause the recording. So, okay, sorry about that. We are having some technical difficulties, but we are about to show you a picture of that Jeep Andrew was talking about.
I don't want to share Zoom. No. Okay.
Podcast listeners, just go ahead and skip ahead 30 seconds or so, and because you can't really see this, or you could.
There we go. Okay.
You're sideways again. There you go. Nice.
So that is the square. One square is rare.
Yeah.
That's the saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about that kind of Jeep. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I did not take this photo, by the way.
No.
I just Googled it and it showed up.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So yeah, we're going to. So I guess we kind of finished the random questions. So
yeah.
Oh, something I wanted to show you guys. There's this. I mentioned it in the first take. There's this BMW convertible. It's really cool. It's a convertible, but it's a hard top. It has a really cool thing. I'm going to see if I can get it to work. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're.
Huh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sorry, podcast listeners, you can't see that. The trunk kind of opens up and it just kind of goes under there, and I thought that was really cool. So I'll just show you that it's out. Podcast listeners, I'll send you a link for it.
Subscribe to YouTube if you want to see it.
Yeah, we'll probably, well, you can see it on YouTube. You can see it on the Zoom video. I'm trying to get that to go away. There. So yeah, I'll send the link to that video. That was just the first video I could find that actually showed the converting. So yeah. I cannot remember the actual name of the. Let's see, maybe this is it. Oh yes. Well, I think there are several models that do it, but this particular one is W430i. Yeah. So we're going to go on to our main topic. To end off this, I'm going to say, if you want to tell us what your dream car, your spirit car, your favorite car, or your actual car is, you can tell us at the random email phone5@gmail.com. So, bye. Sorry about that. We kind of forgot to. We did it in the first take, but we forgot to tell you what our actual. We only told you our dream car in this take, so we kind of forgot the other three. So.
Yeah.
Question, but I mean, so let's see. Mine is probably like a light blue Wrangler, probably not the one you were showing me, but like a 2018 maybe, 2016 probably.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you, Andrew?
My spirit car would probably be a Tesla because I like technology, and that's an electric car.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I said favorite car. I meant spirit car. Yeah. And I mean favorite car. I think my favorite car is probably the same as my spirit car in there. But
yeah.
Let's see. Actual car. I mean, I don't own a car, so I'm assuming you don't either, Andrew. So
nope.
That doesn't really apply to us. But, okay, so sorry about that. This time we actually are going back to our Bible segment. So bye. Hey, welcome to the Weekly Encouragement, take 2 of the Bible segment for this episode. Yes. So in the past 30 seconds, we came up with 2 t-shirt ideas. One.
Yeah.
About
disco chickens.
Yes, disco chickens. If you aren't us, which the majority of you aren't, you don't. You will never fully understand the experience of disco chickens. But
disco chickens.
So, do we just go ahead and tell that story, or do we let everyone guess at it?
Yeah, let's tell the story.
So,
we went campaigning for our state representative, and we that and one chicken especially was my favorite chicken because it had feathers around its head, like right here, like a crown, like really big feathers, and feathers all over its chest and its stomach and its back, and then had feathers on its legs.
Yeah, and it had feathers on its feet, and I mean that it's a chicken and it had feathers on its feet, and
we call it a disco chicken.
Yeah. I think I was looking up disco chickens on Google. I think there's a band or something called Disco Chickens, but I mean, you get lots of good pictures of disco chickens if you look around on YouTube. You'll know what I'm talking about. I guess it's some kind of breed of chicken. I don't know. But that was a fun day. And so we're making a T-shirt of that, and also about our famed
Acme Mouse. Acme Mouse.
Yes, Acme Mouse. Yes, Acme Mouse is here with us today. Acme Mouse. So
yes,
to start out this episode, we compiled some information about some Bible facts, Bible fun facts. So first one, of course you probably know this, but Psalm 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible with 176 verses, and the shortest chapter is just 2 chapters away, actually, Psalm 117 with just 2 verses. And fairly short verses at that, even as far as verses go. But one cool thing about Psalm 117, and I already read this in the first take, but I'm having to read it again. So the shortest chapter in the Bible, both in the number of verses and words, is, Psalm 117, with only 2 verses and 17 words in Hebrew. Interestingly, Psalm 117 is also the middle chapter of the Bible, is the 595th chapter with 594 chapters before it and 594 chapters after it. So maybe that's just me, but I thought that was really cool. And I mean, it's definitely a good chapter as far as.
Wait, wouldn't it be 100 verses?
What?
Wouldn't it?
Would it be what?
Like the middle.
Middle.
I
What?
I just confused myself. Just keep going.
Okay.
Confused myself. I figured it out.
Okay. So yeah. But yeah, it was the middle chapter of that, which is kind of cool. I mean, so also another thing is the longest book in the Bible, which this place I'm getting all this information to. I'll link to it in the show notes and stuff. So what is the longest book in the Bible? There's more than one way to determine which is the longest book of the Bible. For example, should we count the verses or the words? Some verses are significantly longer than others, so it is likely more accurate to count the number of words. But if we are counting the number of words, do we count the English words or the Hebrew or Greek words? Since the inspired original documents of the Bible were in Hebrew and Greek, and since sometimes more than one English word is needed to translate a word in Hebrew or Greek, or vice versa, a count using the number of Hebrew or Greek words would seem to be the most accurate. By counting the number of words in Hebrew or Greek, the longest book of the Bible is. Can you give us a drum roll? Oh, yeah, I'll sound a lot better in the podcast, but drum roll. Yes. Jeremiah, 33,002 words, which, yeah, so interesting. For some reason, I always thought it was Psalms, so I guess that's just because of the number of chapters. But so, yeah, so Jeremiah is 33,002 words. The second longest book is not Psalms either, but Genesis, 32,000 words-ish. While it is by far the longest book of the Bible by the number of chapters, the book of Psalms is only the third longest book of the Bible according to the number of words, 30,147. So 2,000 less than Genesis. The fourth largest is Ezekiel, slightly less than 30,000. The fifth longest book is Exodus with slightly less than 26,000. And the longest book in the New Testament and the 12th overall is the Gospel of Luke with a little over 19,000 Greek words, that is. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So, one more fact, or 2 more facts actually. So Esther 8:9 is the longest verse in the Bible, and the shortest verse is John 11:35, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And again, I need to stop talking about what we did in the first episode that we tried to do, because that just is irrelevant. But so me and Andrew and the people in our youth group, we got to talk about John 11:35 one night. We pick a verse and we talk about it and learn from it. So. But we kind of picked it as just a joke because it was the shortest verse in the Bible. But we actually got a lot out of it. It was really fun.
We spent 1 hour, 1 full hour,
Yes.
maybe more, talking about 2 words.
Yes.
About 2 words.
I think the biggest thing we learned from that is that you have to look at the context of a verse. Context, we say. I don't know why we chose to say it 3 times, but that's how we say it. But I've also heard it said that you never read a Bible verse. You never want to read just one verse. You always want to read like a paragraph or even a chapter just to make sure you don't take something out of context. So that's where we're going to start out today. So we're just going to read like verse 1 through like, I think we did 45 last time. Something like that. So we ended up doing like, each of us would read 2 words and we'd switch 2 verses and we'd switch back and forth. So John 11, verse 1. Now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment, and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick.
Therefore the sisters sent to him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it.
Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was.
Then after this, he said to the disciples, We must go to Judea again. The disciples said to him, Rabbi, lately the Jews sought to stone you. You are going there again?
Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in a day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him.
These things he said, and after that he said to them, Our friend Lazarus sleeps, Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may wake him up. Then the disciples said, Lord, if he sleeps, he will get well.
Howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking a rest and sleep. Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead.
Oof.
Big oof, yeah.
Oh, there's more. And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, that you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him. Then Thomas, who is called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, Let us also go, that we may die with him.
Then when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off, which we determined was about 2 miles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And many of the Jews had joined the women around Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Now Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary was sitting in the house.
Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been there, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee.
Jesus said to her, Your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this?
She said to him, Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is to come into the world. And when she said these things, she went her way and secretly called Mary, her sister, saying, The teacher has come and is calling for you.
As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but it was in that place where Martha met him.
Then Jesus, who were with her in the house and comforting her, when they saw that Mary rose up quickly and went out, followed her, saying, She is going to the tomb to weep there. Then Mary came there where Jesus was, and saw him. She fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been there, my brother would not have died.
When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see.
Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, See how he loved him.
And some of them said, Could not this man, which opened the eyes of the blind, have caused that even this man should not have died? Jesus therefore, again groaning in himself, cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it.
Jesus said, Take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him who is dead, said to him, Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead for 4 days. She said to her, Did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God?
One thing you miss when you don't read King James Version is that you don't get to read things like, Lord, by this time he stinketh. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I know that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me.
Now when he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he who had died came out, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, loose and let him go. And then we can stop there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's John 11 in a nutshell, and context of John 11:35. So, in the first one, I gotta stop talking about that first take. But so instead of summing it up, I mean, since we read it, we kind of don't really need to do that. But so, yeah, Jesus he came, and so
crying.
Yeah, the biggest there's lots of things we learn about this, but one of the biggest ones is that Jesus, he was God, and he knew that Lazarus was going to die, but he was still human, and he still was sad because his friend Lazarus had died. I mean, he still loved Lazarus because he was God and he loves everyone, but also because as human, he loved Lazarus as he was his friend, and so it was. And I mean, he knew that Lazarus that was part of God's plan and his plan because he is God, for Lazarus to die, but it was still sad for him to do that. So,
I mean,
have to let him die.
Jesus feels the same things we do because
Right.
he's 100% human and 100%
Exactly.
God.
Yes.
But he feels the same stuff we do every day. But he feels more pressure because one, he's 100% God. So I mean, he has half the people relying on him to take care of them and heal their diseases and lameness and all that. And then there's the other half of the people trying to kill him. So I mean,
yeah, that's not a fun place to be in, even though you're God.
So he's allowed to cry once.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And he could have been. There's a possibility that he could have been crying because he knows how beautiful and how there's no suffering in heaven, and that he didn't want to take Lazarus away from that because compared to earth, heaven is
right.
I mean, well, compared to heaven, earth is, just a big dirt ball.
Yeah.
Floating in space.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to bring Lazarus back to that. So, I mean, he could have been crying because he knows what a beautiful place that Lazarus was in. And that was sad that...
you could also say that Earth came out of the Southern Cross and of a Polaris-bound Pegasus. So... But anyway, yeah. I hope I got that right.
Yeah. But
yeah.
And he was crying because his friend died. So
right. Yeah.
But there's a possibility that could have been another reason that he.
Yeah, I think that's definitely could be part of it. But yeah, the main thing is that his friend died. So yeah, human. That's a big thing. Even if you're God too, that's still. He was still. It's not like God wanted Lazarus to die. Just that was part of the plan. And of course, he's going to die eventually, and even he rose him again. But yeah. So one part of this that this applies in other parts of the Bible too. We'll get to that. But one part of it is that even though God knows everything, he's timeless. He knows everything that is going to happen and has happened and is happening. The fact, even as God, of knowing that Lazarus has died is different than God knows that Lazarus will die in 32 AD or whenever. So
yeah,
the experiencing something, even if you're God, is different than knowing it. I tried to use the metaphor of even though God knew that Lazarus was dead. The experience of it, of finding it out, was different than knowing it, even though God knows everything. And it's like
writing a movie and then filming it and then going to the world premiere and watching it.
Right. Yeah. And I also compared it to I like yours a lot better. Yeah,
you know exactly what's going to happen, but you're still on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's also with that, there's also you are wondering how other people like it, but the one I tried to make was it's kind of like watching a Star Wars movie, not picking on Star Wars, but just a movie like that. The good guys are going to win somehow or another. You may not know exactly how, but basically something like that is going to happen. But that doesn't mean you don't want to watch the movie. I mean, to experience it. And also or just watching a movie again, exactly what's going to happen scene by scene, but it's still enjoyable to watch it again. That's the difference between knowing and experiencing. Another example of this was, or in the Bible, when God told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. God knew that Abraham would be willing to do it, but that's different than experiencing Abraham being willing to do it. And I mean, this is one of those things, kind of like the Trinity, just because we're humans, it's an attribute of God. It's just one of those things we can't quite fully understand, because, I mean, we can't quite understand that, but things like this kind of make it easier to understand, or at least get us closer to it. Yeah. So. Oh. I think I just found out that the recording we did actually uploaded to my computer.
Oh, that's great.
Well, I guess, I don't know what word to do with that, but we can include that in bloopers or something.
Yeah.
Oh, in the next few weeks, be prepared. We are finishing up a blooper / the best of the weekly encouragement episode, so watch that. If you want to see the absolute worst of what we've done, the funniest, the best, and where we've done the stupidest of mistakes. Most of them were mine, but Andrew did a few.
No, it was 50. It was 50-50. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll give you that. But anyway, so be prepared for that.
Because I'm the one that said that the Nazis were the best people in the world, and you're the one that typed it. So.
I'm the one that wrote it. You just read it. You're innocent. You just read it. I'm the one that did.
No, I should have stopped myself. So I mean,
just reading it.
My simple mind didn't catch that.
I didn't even realize that that's what I wrote until you read it to me. I didn't even realize it. If you don't understand,
the Nazis aren't the best people in the world. That's why they're in the bloopers.
Disclaimer: Nazis are not the best people in the world if they still exist.
Yeah.
And they weren't when they did exist. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
did you know that they're even today there's still Nazi rallies in Berlin?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, nearly 100 years later, here they are.
Yeah. Then again, they're still socialists. Oh wait, no. There's 2 or 3 or 24 countries that are still socialists, and more every minute. So, yeah.
America was going to be one of them.
Yeah, I would have been.
Sanders dropped out.
Yeah. But anyway, no more political statements here.
Yeah.
But, vote for Trump. No, just kidding. Yeah. So
I guess we should move on to.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty
much
it. This was a lot shorter than I thought it'd be, but that's pretty much it. So.
We didn't exactly spend an hour talking about this. But,
but I mean, So, I mean, technically, we don't have to publish this on. So we could save it for the random topic or something, but I don't know. We'd have to find a way to record another episode today, and I don't think that's going to happen. So.
No.
But anyway, we'll see you back in a minute for the Babylon Bee and the good news section.
Yeah.
So, Hey, we're back. Thank you.
Hey.
Oh man, podcast listeners, you really should watch the video on YouTube. It loses a lot in the podcast, but
yeah.
Anyway, here we go with our good news article of the week. I have the link in the show notes, whether on YouTube or wherever. So, Afghan translator who saved U.S. soldiers finally celebrates 4th of July as an American citizen. Let's see, this was on July 5th, so a few days ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. So let's see. Do we want
An
to read
Afghan
it?
translator. Yeah, I'll start reading it.
Great.
An Afghan translator who spent 9 years risking his life to assist U.S. forces in Afghanistan has just celebrated his first 4th of July as a U.S. citizen. Although his duties as a translator never required it, Janis Shinwari saved the lives of several American soldiers, and one of them decided to return the favor by offering to bring Shinwari and his family to the U.S. If he would have stayed in Afghanistan, the translator wouldn't be alive today, he told CNN Heroes in 2018. Shinwari was aiding U.S. forces over a decade ago because he wanted his country liberated from the terror of Taliban rule. Although he knew he was risking his life, he did what he thought was right for his country. In 2008, Captain Matt Zeller was about to die during battle with Taliban forces until a man who identified himself as a U.S. translator dragged him out of harm's way. They may not have known each other before that moment, but the experience forged as an unshakable bond. Since that time, we become even closer than brothers, Shinwari said. With the Taliban in pursuit of Shinwari, Zeller began working furiously to get him a visa so he could leave the country. Initially, I lost my spot.
They expected the process to only take a couple of months, but it actually took several years.
Thanks to Zeller's persistence, gathering signatures on a petition, and meeting with several members of Congress, Shinwari and his family fled to the U.S. in 2013. Once he arrived, Zeller helped him with every aspect of his new life in America, including raising $35,000 with the GoFundMe campaign. Shinwari finally became eligible for citizenship this year, and on June 30th, acting Homeland Security Secretary Ken Cuccinelli administered the oath of allegiance to Shinwari and his wife, officially making them U.S. citizens, just in time to celebrate their new country's Independence Day. During the ceremony, Shinwari was thanked for his brave service and saving the lives of 5 Americans.
Though Shinwari is grateful for his life in the U.S. and the kindness from countless strangers, he hasn't forgotten about the other brave translators in Afghanistan. He and Zeller started the nonprofit No One Left Behind, which has helped more than 5,000 translators and their families to settle as refugees in the U.S. It's their way of paying back the indebtedness they feel for each other, generally believing neither would be here today if not for the other's care and assistance. Wow, I really like that. That's
if
really
if that ain't good news, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I'll have a link to that in the show notes so you can read that. And now we're going to bring you the fake news. Okay, Babylon Bee. Oh, Disney Plus displays warning that Hamilton may contain positive depictions of founding fathers. Yeah, that's good. That could be really problematic for some people.
What was it? Sorry, you were cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Disney Plus displays warning that Hamilton may contain positive depictions of founding fathers. Yeah, that might be a problem for some people.
Yeah.
That's good that they included that. That could be a problem.
Especially Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah. Oh, atheists launched No Lives Matter movement.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay, I think we're having technical difficulties.
Kanye West seizes opportunity to be most rational, coherent presidential candidate.
Wow. Oh, state governor mandates everyone wear snorkels in case they fall in a pool. Could be that's a great idea.
Yeah. Rocky Balboa statue goes 15 rounds against rioters.
With fireworks canceled, Americans celebrate by firing their many, many guns in the air. In the U.S., with fireworks displays around the country canceled due to COVID, millions of Americans have resorted to celebrating their American independence by firing their obscene numbers of firearms into the sky in defiance of tyranny. While all the whiny liberals stayed inside and cried liberal tears, true patriots took to the streets in a show of force and fired approximately 328 billion rounds of ammunition into clouds to stand up for real American values. Yeehaw, Americans shouted, guns in America, boy howdy. Reports indicate the thunderous noise lasted over 3 hours, being heard all around the globe. Tyrants and dictators around the world cowered in their bedrooms at the sound of freedom ringing across the land. During the raucous party, Americans drank all the beer and ate all the burgers. Then they went to the store to stock up on more ammunition.
Nice. California unveils Lion's Den for Christians who sing in church. In a solemn ceremony today, Governor Gavin Newsom of California dedicated a Lion's Den for Christians who sing in church against the government's orders. Newsom's advisors had approached him and suggested the move. May Governor Newsom live forever, they said, bowing prostrate. I don't know anymore. Before him, we, your humble advisors, have all agreed that you should issue an edict and enforce the decree that anyone who sings to any god except science or Black Lives Matter shall be thrown into the lion's den. That's great.
Biden proves healthy cognition by flawlessly reciting all the sounds animals can make. Like we said before, they bring you the sad news, but they still make it funny. Nation that kills 3,000 babies a day feels morally superior to slave owners from 200 years ago. Oh, an ultimate act of sacrificial love. Man plugs in wife's phone instead of his. Okay, sorry about that, podcast listeners or video watchers or whatever. I'm sorry. We're having it's a bad day for technology, at least for us.
Mm-hmm. And for China. This is a bad year for China. I mean,
yeah.
First coronavirus, now bubonic plague. What's next?
Yeah. Not to mention communism. That doesn't help anything. But yeah.
Oh man, you think we should wrap it up there? We read several
so.
Babylon Bee articles.
I think that's. Oh, Redskins changed name to Lizard People to better represent population of Washington, D.C. So.
Well, isn't it Washington State? No, that's Seattle.
I don't know anymore.
I don't mean either.
Oh. Powerful. LeBron James pulls over to lecture homeless man on his white privilege.
Okay, let's wrap
it up.
Let's wrap it up. So we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
And follow us on Facebook.
Yeah. Our deal to get dumped with ice water if we get 10 more subscribers is still on by the end of July. So,
yeah,
do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just subscribers on YouTube. So, have we ever gotten any more than 10 yet?
No.
I didn't think so.
If you don't subscribe to us on YouTube, I will personally come to your house, break into your house, and fill your toilets with snakes.
and
True statement.
Yeah. And in a couple weeks, Andrew is going to be the government too. So not only me, you have to worry about, it's him. So
yes.
keep that in mind.
So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
That's the end of the episode.
See you in your nightmares.